Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hope and Healing with Christina, restoring hope one heart at a time. I am so excited to be on tonight. We are talking about plant therapy, and it is going to be an exciting show. When you think of therapy, right, you don't think of like, I'm going to take care of plants or I'm going to draw a picture or anything like that. You think of like going and sitting on someone's couch, right? And talking about all your problems. You are thinking about all kinds of stuff, right? You're thinking maybe about physical therapy or occupational therapy. Never did I thought or think that going into putting plant in front of therapy. But our next guest has a whole ministry for plant therapy. So I am so excited about having her on this evening. She is going to talk about that her name is Amanda Richardson, and she is the founder of Plant Therapy, all things watered. And so I'm going to bring her up right now. First, want to say good evening to everyone. Hello, Sheila, and hello to my husband, and hello, Sherry Starkey. Hello, how are you doing? Hello, Miriam. Hello, Yvonne, how are you, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like and share. And if you didn't want to say hi to me on here, that's okay. I see that people are on. I ain't going to say nothing to me, but that's all right. Hello to you too. All right, everybody. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up my next guest, Amanda Richardson. Hello.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
Good. I'm excited to be on. I'm excited to be here as well.
I'm good. I'm glad to have you on as well. So let's introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mother of 6 total, 4 of my own biological children and 2 bonus children. I do plant therapy a lot, but by day I'm a tax preparer. So Amen. I do the plant therapy. The plant therapy is my ministry.
Amen. And what is it called now?
Plant therapy.
That the ministry is called Plant Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
All things watered. I thought I saw.
Yes.
I love that. I like that part. All things watered. I love it. That's cool. That's really cool. Hello, Deborah. She says, good evening. So tell us about this plant therapy and how you got into it. We talked about it briefly before we got on, but tell our audience what got you into plant therapy.
Okay, plant therapy it was birthed in the garden of my client's garden. My client was a 70-year-old man that I took care of named Gabe, who had MS. And I was with Gabe for 4 years straight. Just me and him, we did one-on-ones. And so every morning when I would go to his house, he would still be asleep. So I would go sit out in the garden. His wife had a beautiful garden. And I would sit out there in the morning and just sit there and just bask in the beauty of it all. And during that time, I would sit out there, and that's when the Lord ministered to me as I was sitting there. And I would write, and I would watch the hummingbirds come up. I would watch the red cardinal would fly by, butterflies. Like it was beautiful, and that's what I would do. And so it started from me having conversations in the garden with Jesus. That's how it started.
I love that. I love that because a lot of people wouldn't put Jesus with plant therapy, right? It would be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, but you were actually communing. That was your like daily like devotion,
Oh yeah, yes. And
right?
it was a very difficult season for me,
Okay.
because I had at that time I had lost my house. I was married. I was going through a separation, which led to
Mhm.
divorce. So like when I tell you everything in my life had shifted, that's what was going on at that time. So I found peace in sitting in the garden,
Okay.
and
Wow. And so you had this plant and you went home and cultivated the plant, or
so no, what happened was his wife had bought me some plants for my birthday. She had bought me four beautiful flower pots, like and with plants in them. And when I took them home, at the time when I took them home, like I took care of those things like nobody's business. Like that was like where it all started with me taking care of the plants. But there, when I would go there, that was her garden that I had the privilege of sitting in. And when I tell you it was beautiful, like it was really, really, her garden was all in the back and wrapped all the way around the whole house.
oh my
So, oh,
goodness.
it was beautiful. So that's what I would be doing. But it started from her buying me plants for my birthday that I took home and I was taking care of them. And it started
Now,
from there.
did she notice that that is what you were doing? Like she knew that you were admiring her garden and she just
I
thought,
guess so. She never
oh,
said anything. She just came home one day and was like, I got something for you. She was like, for your birthday. And I was like, oh, okay, what'd you get? And she was like, that. And I was like, oh, which one? She said, no, take all of them. And they were like these big, beautiful baskets. And I'm like, all of them? And I took them all home. And man, I took care of those things. It was everything. And I didn't even realize how much I enjoyed watering flowers,
yeah.
you know?
How did you know what to do? Because me, I would have been like, oh, so what do I do? Did you ask her? Did you Google? Like, how
I
did you
just,
know?
I did, I really didn't know what to do. I just knew that, okay, it's hot, it's summertime. They're going to need some water. So I had them on my front porch. So I had to water them, other than that, it was trial and error. Gardening is trial and error. Like a lot of people say, oh, I can't take care of a cactus. Like it's plants are like, you try it, like there's not one plant tip for gardening. Like it's trial and error.
Okay. Okay. So, how did the therapy come in? Like, where is it that you started plant therapy or
Okay. So
realizing it was therapy?
all that time that I was sitting out there and would do that, I didn't realize that the Lord was setting it up to be a ministry. I didn't know that. So plant therapy came about a little while after that. Um, I was asking someone to help me with a logo, and I came up with this name. And just like as I was riding in the car, it just popped up like plant therapy. I'm like, plant therapy.
Mm.
And so it started like that. And like I said, all that time that I was sitting in the garden, I didn't know that the Lord was using that to prepare me for what I was getting to. So plant therapy is basically a ministry that teaches people how to heal. Um, a lot of times, and the best way that I can describe it
Mhm.
is, oftentimes we'll see a beautiful plant, for example, like, like this one. I'll show you one, for example. You see this plant?
Oh, that is
You see how
pretty.
pretty that is? You see
Oh,
how,
it's beautiful.
right? So when you look at it, but oftentimes we just see the top.
Yeah.
We never really see below the soil. We just see, oh, but a lot of times under the soil, there's areas in our life that we haven't dealt with. There's roots in there, weeds, stuff that you can't see. And so those are the areas in our life that we have not dealt with. So the Lord showed me how he taught me how to teach people how to deal with those roots and the things that they suppressed, the things that are laying below the soil that no one can see.
Wow.
You know,
Such as.
so childhood wounds, trauma, things we've suppressed, things that we never want to talk about, you know, all those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I had issues of different things. I dealt with a trauma. I've had the loss of my brother or the loss of my father. I dealt with different things that I suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord He showed me that. So what I
Wow.
do is if I've had a few plant therapy sessions where people come out and they get to pick their own plant and we do a potting of that plant. We do that. But there's a teaching part to it too. It's not just, it is hands-on with the soil, but they're also learning. When they get there, they learn that it wasn't just about the plant. It's about you too. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, we often forget to water ourselves. We take care of everything else
I
but
love that.
ourselves.
Mm, that's
So
good.
we do, especially when you're a mother, you wear many hats. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you could be a wife, you have kids, you're juggling this, that, you work. And so a lot of times, if you think about a plant, if you leave a plant just sitting in the corner of the room and you never water it, what's going to happen to that plant?
It dies. Yeah. It's
it's
going
going to
eventually.
it's going to shrivel up. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I teach people that you still have to water you.
Mm.
And we water ourselves by the reading of the word, and things of that
Yeah.
nature. You need that.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, I don't know where I would be without his
Mm-hmm.
word.
So do
Those
people
two
come to your
things.
home, or how do they come to your
No.
home?
So
Okay.
what we do is usually we've had a couple of plant therapies was at my church. It was held at my church
Okay.
on a Saturday. It was usually like a 4-hour window.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's what we've done, some of them so far. So I'm still working on planning the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last event that we had was Meet Me in the Dirt. That's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about, you know, the Lord often meets us in our dirty places, our dirty situations, and our messy situations. So He met us in the dirt that day. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to some of the women who came, they can give you their experience
Mm-hmm.
of what they experienced that day.
Okay. Wow. So it's not just one woman. It's like a couple of women. You all go out there.
There's usually about 20 women who come.
Oh my goodness, that's excellent. Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. There's usually about 20 women who come.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's like we prepare for them. We don't just there's usually a window of people
Mm-hmm.
that can come
Someone
at one.
Sharon said, yes, he did.
She was there.
Okay. Okay, Sharon. I was just about to say, if you were there, shout yourself out here. I want to know. And you
Yeah.
Sharon did. So she was there and he met you guys in the dirt. Now, when you say that, what do you mean by he met you there? Like, was there breakthroughs? Were people like delivered from things? Like
Yeah.
people related all of that? Like, oh, I see. Yeah, how this could be metaphor for my life.
Yeah. So the Holy Spirit met us there, and some people received some healing. Some chains were broken. Um, so like He literally met us where we were. Like Holy Spirit met us there. Um, the people received prayer for different things that they didn't even really realize that they were holding on to, and it was a time where of release.
Okay. So describe to me what a typical therapy would be like if you brought all the women together. Like, do you start out in prayer? Do you start out with the plant only, or how do you relate that their life to that plant
Okay,
specifically?
so usually we'll start out with we'll have like a icebreaker.
Okay.
We'll have a little lunch. We'll do our planting session with the plants, and we'll discuss a few things. I may share something about myself, and it begins like that. And then the Lord will allow me to go around and minister to the women that are in the room.
Oh. That's amazing. That who would have thought that that would be something to as a use as a ministry tool? But God can use anything, right? God can use
Anything.
anyone. He can use anything. Why not use the very thing that He created, right? That was here before even humans were here, right? Like they were plants were have always been here. They just were, and we it was our job to cultivate them in the beginning, right? Like He gave Adam that charge, right? He was supposed to take care of the fields and so like and till the land and everything. So why not start with something like that we were supposed to be doing anyway? And so I think that's amazing that you can use that as a form of therapy. Now you said you took care of people. How would that look like for people who, like, maybe in my situation, I don't I use a rollator to walk, and I don't have a traditional garden, so to speak. We were talking about that. So I can't go outside. I don't have a whole bunch of grass and dirt, because that, to me, that's what a garden is. You go outside, like you said, you're the person you were a caretaker for. His wife had this beautiful garden. So I would say, look at her garden and say, that's a garden. I can't do that.
Okay, so everything, if you think about it, everything begins in seed form. Everything begins in the garden. And so even when we think back to Genesis, so I have a cousin who is in a facility. She's in a nursing home. She's only in her 50s. She ended up having a brain injury and ended up bedbound. So her garden, she doesn't have a garden like we think, like we have to have this big garden outside. No, a garden consists of a little tiny plant like this, just sitting on your hospital table. Okay. And so I had bought her a plant that I brought to her. It was like a little 4-inch pot. And so, she cannot physically get up herself. She has to have help. Like she's limited to walking and some of the things that she can do right now. And so I had given her a plant, and that was like everything to her. So that gave her something to look forward to. She began taking care of that, where she just had to pour some water in it. And, but just watching that grow was life changing for her. Like she would message me, and there was a time where she couldn't talk at a point in time. She couldn't text at a point in time. Now she has learned how to use, she has an iPad. She can message me and say, hey, you got to come see about my plant. I don't know how it's doing, but I was looking over at it. So it gave her something to look forward to. It gave her hope again. Yeah. You'd be surprised what a little bit of dirt and soil could do for somebody.
Isn't that amazing? That when you just put that plant out in front of you, it reminds me of when we were kids.
This little thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cute. But when we were kids, remember, like the teacher would have us on Mother's Day, and they would start off with like a little cup and some soil, and we put seeds in it.
I remember
and then we would watch it grow, and we would just watch it grow. And I would be so excited when you started seeing those little buds. So I guess that's something that she was thinking about, like, wow, looking at this grow. And I guess look at how it could be used, not just for just a therapy, but for a little child to be able to watch something that they took care of just blossom and grow.
And even her just being able to fill the pot, like, I had given her the plant and I put it in the pot, and her just feeling the texture on the pot was stimulating for her.
Okay. I get it. The stimulation. Yeah. The dirt, feeling the dirt.
And when you think about it, like for people who, like, even when they put their hands in soil, that releases cortisol levels in you, just playing in the dirt.
Oh, wow.
Those are some of the benefits. It's like a stress reliever.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Here, who's this? I think this is my sister-in-law. Hey, Pastor Chrissy, sis. That is my sister-in-law. That's why it's Pastor Chrissy, sis. This is so on point. I used to not like plants at all until recently. God has been teaching me so many things regarding this: patience, maintenance, growth below the surface. Amen. Yeah, I like that. Yep. Patience, maintenance, and growth beyond the surface, like beneath the surface. Yeah, how everything starts underneath.
So one of the things that he showed me as well, when I would be out in my client's garden, and there were times where I was watering it, and one of the things the Lord was showing me and teaching me about planting, he was like, well, Mandy, everything that if everything you water, it will grow. So that's not just for plants. Everything in our life we have to water.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, think about when we read the word, like you can't just open a Bible, read one word and just think that's it. No.
Yeah.
Your life doesn't grow like that.
Right.
So it's the things that we do that helps to water and nurture that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
we get out of it what we put in. You have to spend time with the Lord. You have to, you know what I mean? It's going to be some work that you're going to have to do. So it's the same thing with planting. Like, so one of the things that he has showed me, like, sometimes you gotta get up, you gotta water those things.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to prune it, and that's a whole other process. I even went through that.
Okay. What is that process, pruning?
Ooh, pruning. Pruning is a cutting away of dead things.
Gotcha.
Think about some of the things in our lives that has happened to us. For me, I'm telling my age now. I've been around for 46 years.
Okay.
So there are some things that have happened in my life that, over time, that the Lord had to come in and chisel away. There's some of those things had to be cut back. They had to be pruned. So though it's a process that has to happen. It's the same thing with our plants. If I never cut some of these, like, there's sometimes I have to cut, prune off, pick it in order for it to grow more. It's like the word says, so that you could bear more fruit. It's the same thing with plants.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with our lives. There are some things that have happened that, the Lord had to go in and do some surgery on some areas in my life, especially our hearts. So we got to begin to look at our hearts like the garden.
Mm-hmm.
There's things in there where that has happened where there's roots. There's some areas of our heart is calloused. And he wants to make those areas green again, where
Mm-hmm.
things can grow the way
Right.
that it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I like that. I was talking to you about my hydrangea, and I was saying how, I was just kind of like, it's just there. It's a plant, and it's not outside. I wish I could have it outside. Well, I probably could, but then I don't know. I would have to see about that. I would like to have another easy to care for plant, but this particular hydrangea, at one point it was I saw the leaves were kind of wilting and everything, and so I started watering it more because it said that it was a really thirsty plant. It needed more water than usual plant. And not only that, but I started talking to her, and I was just like, hey, you're gonna grow beautiful and strong. And I started talking and talking, and I noticed that the next day she looked like a little bit more perkier. So can you talk about that theory? Because my mom used to have plants and she used to talk to her plants too. And she said, it helps them grow. And I would be like, okay, lady. Okay,
So
lady.
for me, I do like I.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to my plants. It might sound crazy. I know they're not going to answer me back, but I talk to my plants. I might be watering, or let's say one of my plants looks a little like droopy today. I'm like, no, you're gonna live. You're gonna perk up, like, stuff like that. Yeah, you. I talk to my plants.
Mm-hmm.
I sure do.
I think because it's a living thing, they are living things. They are living things, right?
Yes. And as you're taking care of that plant, look what it's doing for you. You're talking to it. You're going over in the morning, you're watering it. Like I do that in the morning, before I go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. That's my thing. And as you were talking about the water, like you said that when you noticed when you gave her a little bit of water because she looked dry. Think about us with the living water. We need it. Look what happens to us when, like, what is the Bible says that the word that is sharper than any two-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we need the word. Like,
We
without
did.
that,
Mm-hmm.
we waste away. So,
Absolutely.
I know for me, during those difficult seasons of my life, in 2020, when I lost my father unexpectedly due to COVID, it was like doing little things like gardening that helped me.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me to deal with grief. And, I know that some people deal with different forms of grief.
Yeah.
You can mourn things that you once had that you don't have anymore. It's not always a death. It may be something that I might be limited to do something that I could,
Mm-hmm.
like you spoke about, like, having the garden inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it's things like that where me having to care for a little tiny plant that I took care of, a little 4-inch plant that now turned into this big, you know, things like that has kept me.
Right. Kim said she was going to throw her plants away, but was told to give them a name and care for them as people. They helped me to connect with and take interest in them, and they began to grow.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's beautiful.
My mother-in-law here, she says she talks to her plants. Naquasia says she talks to her plants all the time.
That's my daughter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And she talks to her plant. Look at that. Look at that.
And she also, one of the things that Quasia does for us, she has propagated the plants to grow them for the guests that are coming to the plant therapy session. She has like grown some of the plants for us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really nice. I like that idea. Wow. That's cool that you know, you got your daughter into it now too, and she's helping you. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Tell me about this process of like repotting, because I belong to, and let me tell you just how much my interest is with plants. I joined this Facebook group, and it's called Black Women Who Love Plants or something.
Oh, I'm on there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, and they always go and they're like, what can I do with this plant? Why is she, you know, they're like, oh, you needed to get out and put it in a different pot or a bigger pot. Like, why is that?
Okay, so think about, okay, you see how little this little plant is? Mm-hmm. This is in a little 2-inch cup. So after a while, what'll happen is once she gets bigger, it's going to start to outgrow this space. Mm-hmm. And the roots will start to come out. That's when you know that it's outgrown its living space. So then she might have to then go to the next stage, which would be probably like a little 4-inch and then a 6-inch pot. So if you leave that plant stuck in that little space, it can't grow. Okay. You're going to stagnate the growth of that plant if you leave it in that pot.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Right. She's saying it needs room to grow. Mm-hmm. Just like us.
Yeah. Definitely. I get that. Yeah. I just love the metaphors. I just love how it's so similar to us and what we go through or what we deal with and everything. Everything in the Bible, it always talks about, you know, like you said, like living waters or, you know, the well. And, you know, Jesus told the woman at the well, like, you know, you can get this drink right here, these living waters, and you will never thirst again. And how everything is so likened to a seed, or, you know, it talks about seeds and seed time and harvest and how you have to, you know, till it and all this kind of stuff. And it's all about taking care of something like that. And I just think that God just doesn't do anything just because, you know, like,
and look how much he uses gardening. And when you spoke of the woman at the well,
yeah,
if you think that's where Meet Me in the Dirt came from, that's where I got that theory, because if you think about when she went out there, he met her there. Mm-hmm. And when he met her there, her life was forever changed. So much that she went and told everybody, like, come see about this man. Like, so that's where I got the thought, Meet Me in the Dirt, because like I thought about where he has met her. I was the woman once at the well where he has met me in some messy situations. Okay. Hey. So, you know, I needed the living water. Mm-hmm. That was the only thing that would quench my thirst. So that's what I think about when you talk about the woman at the well. I think Meet Me in the Dirt. That's, I think about awesome. where he has met me.
Mm-hmm. I like that. It's so true. It is so true. He met me there as well in the dirt. Mm-hmm. Like you're like, you know, you don't think like, not that he doesn't meet you in your happy places, but he does meet you when, or people don't think he meets me when I'm at my worst, or some people want to get better. And like, you know how you, the old folks would say, or back in the day, they would say, let me get myself together. Then I'm going to start coming to church. Let me just get myself together first. And it's like, God is like, you ain't got to get yourself. I'm the one to get you together.
Right. Because if you could get you together, you'd have been together already before you could even get here.
Yes.
Yes. That which never happens.
Yes. You know? Yes. Kim says, oh my gosh, the repotting concept, God spoke to me regarding that. This is so on point. She's really excited. Yes. My husband says we could walk into the room listening to my mom talking to her plant. I did the same thing. The Fowler clan. Yes, God is in everything regarding plant, seed, and soil.
Yes.
Tanisha Richardson, as people, we sometimes outgrow places. We're positioned in, and he needs to move us. That's good.
Oh, that's good. That's good, sis.
That's good. That's your sister?
That's my sister. That's my
Oh,
older sister.
okay.
Good.
Yes. I like that. And he needs to move us. He repots us. I like that. Yes. The repotting whole situation. Repotting. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to be repotted because we're in this little tight space and we're like, I can't grow anymore. And he's like, you gotta.
And so what he does is we need the master gardener to come in. He digs up the whole foundation. Whew. And he has to replant us again. So that we can grow in the right soil. Sometimes our foundation is rough, is rocky, and we need them. We need that pruning process, even when it hurts, but it's necessary.
Yeah. Let's talk about that soil. I know plants have specific soil that they grow into. So what kind of soil, what's good soil, what's not so good? We were talking about, I'm blown away because now all of these metaphors, now all of these scenarios that Jesus talked about, all the parables he talked about now are coming to me. When he talked about stony ground, the word falling on stony ground, the word falling on good soil, the word all of these situations now come to me where I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. It's like he brings the garden part to life. Like, oh, that's what you meant, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a plant can't grow in stony ground. Like there's no soil there. There's no, I guess soil represents life.
And when you think about, the start of a garden, let's say I'm starting a garden outside, you have to go and dig up that foundation. You got to make it to where you can put the seeds down, because you can't just drop seeds on cement. The gardener has to come and he has to till the ground. He has to make it pliable so that, you can put down those seeds. You got to put some water on that thing so that it can grow,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Okay, here we go. My grandson bought me a bonsai tree for Mother's Day. He told me I had to name it. We talked to Mr. Miyagi all the time, and you named it Mr. Miyagi because that's the first thing I thought when you said bonsai tree was Karate Kid. He was like bonsai. That's wonderful. That is
so funny.
Yeah, so much revelation. Yeah, right. It is like you, and as you're starting to talk, I'm like, oh. Wow, it's all in the Bible. Like it's all in there. Wow. And your daughter says, and sometimes in that repotting phase, it's uncomfortable for the plant and even for us. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
Because sometimes some plants, if you take away too much of the root, it goes into shock. You could shock the plant.
Really?
Yes. So when you're changing that soil to another pot, I had to learn through gardening that sometimes I leave a little bit of the old soil so that, because if you think about the soil, it loses its nutrients after so long, so you have to repot them after so long. And I don't just rip it away. There's a certain way that you have to do it because you can shock the plant, you can kill it. So you have to do things slowly, like think about some of the things that the Lord has delivered us from. He didn't just like boom, like I mean, for some people it has happened that way, but it's a process. It's a process in a way that some of us have been through some things and have been delivered from some things. So even with plants, you have to do it slow. Like you can't just go ripping the roots away. It's the way that you do it.
Oh wow, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, you can't just kind of. Yeah, it's nothing. It's just like so quick, it's like a slow process. Everything in its own. He even says, and I think it's in Ecclesiastics, he makes everything beautiful in its time.
Yes,
it's everything beautiful in its time, right? It's like it's not like it all of a sudden becomes beautiful. It's like in its time. Okay, it's going to take time. It's going to take time, but it happens.
So I have a little journal that I write in during the day.
Okay,
and so it says, plant a seed. See yourself bloom.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Plant a seed to yourself, because
Yeah,
that's what happens. Wow. So do you
absolutely.
not only do plants, but like flowers? You have like flowers that you have. Like, what's your favorite plant?
Okay, I'll say my favorite flower are begonias. I love
Okay.
begonias, and I have plants inside, and I tend to a garden outside too. I have some plants
Okay.
outside.
Okay.
So my favorite plant, I don't know if I have a favorite plant
Okay.
because I have so many. So I can't say that I have a favorite plant, but my favorite flower would be begonias.
Okay. Begonias. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Mom says, place yourself around people that will culturally help you grow.
Amen. We
Yeah,
need that.
we do
It
need.
matters who you're surrounded by.
Absolutely. Now, does that work with plants too? Like if they're, if they're next to something that's not growing, or okay,
So most plants they like the humidity of being grouped together.
okay,
So like if you put them together in bunches, they like that.
okay,
They tend to grow better when you have them with other plants.
okay.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
they create humidity together, like they like it.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
very interesting. I would not have thought that. It just when she said that around people, I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's the same for plants. Do they like thrive, in that type of area and that type of atmosphere? That's wonderful to know.
Yeah,
Okay. I like
like for
that.
me also too, like with the plant therapy, I don't do that by myself. When I have those groups of women,
Hmm.
I belong to a women's group called Women Hungry for Change. They do that with me. That's not something I could do by myself.
Okay.
So, you
Okay.
know, it matters who you're surrounded by. You got to be surrounded by a group of people that are going where you're going and doing what you do.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, if you have a question for Amanda about plants, go ahead and put it in your comments now. I just want to know, for me, what kind of plant would you suggest for someone like myself who have limited mobility, but I like it. I mean, the hydrangea, I go it over there and I water it, but I want to see, something else. What
Do
else can I?
you get? I'm actually going to send you a plant.
Oh,
So we'll talk after
okay,
this, so you can give me your information. I'm going to send you a plant.
okay.
Um, you blessed me with so many books. I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember
I
that?
do. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would love to send you a plant. So I would say probably most likely a Dracaena, something like this.
Okay.
This is so easy to take care of.
Okay. What
They
is
don't
it
need
called?
much. A Dracaena.
Tristina. Okay.
They don't need much. You
Mm-hmm.
would water this once a week. You would pop it out. You would just water it. Let the water would come out in the bottom
Okay.
once a week.
Hmm. That's easy. I
Very
like
it's considered to be a low maintenance plant.
that. Okay.
Also, pothos are low maintenance plants for someone who this pothos, low maintenance.
Okay.
This doesn't need much. Just a little a
Mhm.
little bit of sun, water it once a week.
Okay. Cool. I like that. I like that a lot here. Lena said, wow. So even plants need community? Is that like a
Absolutely.
little girl or something?
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
Aw.
Absolutely.
I
I
look
love
at
it.
soil, plants, and flowers all day. Marla, she works.
Yeah.
Our Marla is Lawn Star Group. She works at Home Depot. So I bet you
Oh,
see
wow. So
plant-
my daughter has this running joke where a lot of times after work, I'll go to Lowe's, right?
Mhm.
And so she'll say, Mom, you're at your second job. Now, I don't work there, but I go there so much. She says that Mom, you're at your second job. Because that's what I go there to look at the plants. I go there, I'll get flowers,
Mhm.
whatever I'm doing. If I'm just doing a repot, whatever, I'm going there.
Okay, that's it. That's funny. Like that's your while other women like go to shoe stores or
I'm going to Lowe's.
you're
Take me
going
to
to Lowe's.
Lowe's or Home Depot. Or I'm going to the nursery. I go to the nursery too.
Okay, you go do nursery. Okay, alrighty,
Yeah.
that's good. My peace lily that I named after my mother who recently passed is thriving after her repotting, but I'm battling brown tips. Any suggestions?
Peace lilies can be finicky. I have a peace lily that I brought back from my grandmother's funeral all the way from North Carolina. And she has brown tips.
Mhm.
One thing that I realized, the tip that I would tell you to do for that is bottom water her. And they do like water more often. I noticed that sometimes the brown tips is not enough water. You have to water more frequently, but I would say bottom water that peace lily. They seem to do better like that. It wasn't until I started, and they can be very dramatic. And if you don't water them, they will fall over like they look like they're dead until you water them again, and then they bounce back up.
What's bottom water? Like put the
So
water.
you would just take a little bucket and you would set them in the water for like 10 minutes. It soaks up the water. Then you would take it out, make sure it's drained, and then you would put it back. And when you bottom water them, it reduces the risk of having fungus gnats. Sometimes gnats will sit at the top of the soil.
Oh.
So if you bottom water, you're gonna have less. You'll have less of a problem having fungus gnats because gnats live in the soil. Truth be told, sometimes you're gonna have that.
Okay.
And they have little things that you can put in there to get rid of some of the little pests. You know.
Okay.
They have these little stickies that you can put in your plant. But bottom watering seems to be a better technique than just you drenching the plant and it's just wet water sitting at the top.
Okay.
So that's the tip that I would say for the peace lily. They can be dramatic. They can.
Okay. I see. Wow. Peace. And it's interesting. Their names are Peace Lily. It ain't dramatic.
They can be very dramatic. Peace lilies can be very dramatic. I have one. I know.
Oh. What is, we have the Jacinia. No, Jacinia?
Justina.
Jacinia, and the other one that you mentioned that was easy.
Oh, the pothos. The pothos is a very easy plant.
Okay.
And I have plenty of those. Pothos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Sometimes people say pothos, but I call it a pothos.
Oh, very easy. I've seen that name. Okay, now that you said that. Okay. I see. Okay.
And then here I have, this is aglaonema. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is. Oh wow, that is very.
Look at the variegation on that.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Like you just expect green.
Now this one likes a lot of sun.
Okay.
I keep this in a windowsill because if not, it wouldn't look like this.
Okay, gotcha.
This one loves the sun.
Okay. Where is the best place for a plant? Can you keep it anywhere, or is
it depends? Every plant is different. It depends on what that particular plant needs. Some plants need more sun. Some plants need more water than others. So it really depends on the lighting in your place or where you're going to keep that plant at. So every plant's not the same. So it really depends on the plant that you have. Okay. Like this one, these like sun. So I keep this one in the windowsill. So long as it has water and sun, it does fine. Gotcha. But it really depends on the lighting in your place. Like do you have good sunlight that comes in the morning?
I like that. I like when I go into those groups in Facebook and everything, and you were mentioning the gnats, I that would scare some people. They would be like, I do not want to have gnats in the house. Right.
Whatever. But the truth of the matter is they live in the soil, whether you see them or you don't, they're in the soil.
Oh, okay.
But there's, like I said, there's neem oil. There's different things that you can spray in that plant that's safe for it that can help kill those things.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. She just said that. Like Kim, you spray neem oil on the plants.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Someone gave me some for prevention, but I haven't researched it yet. Okay.
I also use neem oil outside because I have hostas, and the beetles like to jump on them and like to eat them. So I spray the neem oil as well. Yeah.
And where can you get neem oil? From any plant store, nursery, or Amazon?
Yeah. You can pretty much get neem oil anywhere.
Okay. Because I know my husband's listening like, don't be having all these gnats in the house. I'm getting neem oil, honey. Okay.
No, you won't necessarily have gnats in your house. That's okay.
But they just live in the soil, you said.
Okay. Sometimes you'll see them in there. Okay. Yeah.
I think
not every plant has pests. I mean, but think about it. Some of those things come along with the nature of it. It's dirt.
Okay. Marla says the plant behind you on the shelf. Which one, Marla? I think she.
Oh yeah, this is a Dracaena. This is a very low maintenance plant. Very easy to take care of.
Okay. There you go.
Yep, that's a little 4-inch Christina.
Okay, Christina. All right. That is awesome. Wow. Who knew that this would be turned into like a Bible study, a therapy, just knowledge, all of that kind of stuff. Like here, she says, climate in my house is warm.
Most plants like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because it could be a little warm in here as well. So yeah, but that's why you have because you have greenhouses and everything, right? It's warm in there.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
very warm.
Okay, yeah, she needs me too, Kim. I need low maintenance.
Look, I would suggest someone starting out with a low maintenance plant,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get the feel of it, and you'll begin to see if you like it, and it teaches us how to water ourselves too. So as I'm taking care of that plant, it's taking care of me too. Because I get joy in that in gardening. You'd be surprised how much you would enjoy it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've seen people who really love it, men and women who are gardeners and love it. I've seen homes with a bunch of plants in them and they just love it. And it looks beautiful. I always said, gosh, that is so nice. My daughter has lots of plants. I have, like I said, my son, all my kids, my daughter loves plants, my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter is in North Carolina right now, and she is learning about gardening and everything. She just texted me right before while we were on and said, plant therapy? Like with a question. And my son has a garden in his backyard, and he helps an older gentleman on his farm. And so he's been in the garden himself and planting stuff. And so I'm just like,
nice. Wow. And who doesn't love to see something grow like this little seedling that I got? I can't wait to see how big this is going to get.
And what is that? What kind of plant is that?
This is an anthurium.
Okay.
A little anthurium.
Okay.
That started from a little seedling, but I bought it like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see how it's going to develop. You could actually see a little bit of the the lines in the leaf.
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
Uh-huh.
I see that. Oh wow. Amazing.
So yeah. So you can on my Instagram, I changed it. It's Planting is My Therapy 78. You could find I have a lot of things posted on there, and I'm still adding stuff. So anyone who wants
Planting is My Therapy
78 on Instagram. There's a lot of plants on there that I posted. Okay. You'll find some of the plant therapy things up there.
Okay.
So I'm still adding stuff to it, but
gotcha. Okay. Planting. Okay, everybody. Yeah, this is her Planting is My Therapy 78 on Instagram. Okay. Yeah. That's nice. Okay. She said Peace Lily drama. My mama equals your mama.
Yeah, so they can be very dramatic. Yeah, so as soon as you said Peace Lily, I'm like, I already know. I already know.
It's just the contrast. Like the name is Peace Lily. Here they are.
Yes. And she needs more. She needs that to be watered more than you know.
Okay.
Yeah, she could be very
and they're beautiful. I know what you're talking about. The Peace Lilies. They're really pretty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like, it's just flowers are beautiful. I love flowers, and I love plants, and I just never had that proverbial green thumb that everybody always talks about. You need to have a green thumb. But I remember growing up with my mom and having plants, and she always had a plant. And her and my grandmother, her mother, would exchange, or my grandmother would pick off. I remember them arguing about, give me a piece of that plant. And she would be like, you're not getting a piece of my plant. You messed up my last time I gave you a piece of my plant. And they would go back and forth. And like I expressed, my grandmother had a big, giant hydrangea bush in front of her yard. And so when I see that, like, it's just so, it reminds me of her. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, wow.
Yeah, and I was able to start a garden in my daughter's house. We started a garden. It was me, her, and my granddaughter, who is, she's going to be 4.
Okay.
She was helping to start that garden as well. So she's going to be our youngest gardener.
Is that Lena that she was talking about?
No.
Okay.
Nyquasia is my daughter, and my granddaughter's name is Alea.
Oh, okay. But she likes those plants as well. Well, she has like no choice. Like it's in her. It's going to be all around her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. And it's good to start them young like that.
Yeah.
She's young. She's going to already know how to cultivate and grow. My son has 5 boys.
Wow.
Yes, I have 6 grandkids altogether, but my son has 5 boys, and he takes them to the farm with him.
Oh,
And so
wow.
they're learning how to grow things, and it's in their backyard, and they're learning how to grow stuff and everything.
That's
So
nice. So
I
now
think
what they're doing with the schools too, I think with the classrooms, they have to have a living thing in their class. So
oh,
most of the teachers now they'll have a plant in the class
that's probably the easiest in
that
having
they
like
have to take care of. Yeah.
yeah.
And
I'd
it's
rather
teaching the
have a
kids
plant
about growth.
than a mouse or a bunny rabbit or whatever like back in the day. Sheila says, thank you, Amanda, for this great information on plants in a godly way. And may God continue to bless you in your ministry, therapy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a blessing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that the Lord is teaching me, even about myself through
Mm-hmm.
planting. Leia's watching with us now. She's very happy that you said her name.
Oh, shout out to Alea. Yes.
Hi,
Alea,
Leigh.
you girl with your plants. I hope you learn to do more and more plants. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, wonderful. Amanda, thank you so much for this. I learned more than I could imagine that I would have learned about therapy with plants, especially with women that I deal with, that our ministry is about, with women that deal with chronic illness and everything, and how just even having something small like the 2-inch cup and that's your garden. You mentioned before that's your garden. It doesn't have
So your garden can consist
to
of anything. Like it could be a little pot next to your table, or if you're in a bed and you're compromised, your garden consists of a little pot next to your bed that you can look at, that you can open the blind and the sun can shine on it. It doesn't, your garden can consist of anything. It doesn't have to be this big area outside that's growing and you have all this space. A garden can consist of a little tiny pot sitting on the counter where you can see it. It stimulates you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I pray that was a blessing to whoever.
That, my husband
just know that your garden can be anything. It can be this little 2-inch little thing, that you're taking care of, and you're watching it grow as you grow. And that's why one of the things, my slogan is all things watered, because every area of our life has to be watered, every area, in order for us to grow.
Marla's going to be at Home Depot now looking for a plant.
Well, I'll tell you this. At Home Depot, they have a clearance section where it has the big yellow stickers. All those plants are discounted. They're usually like half off on that cart.
Nice. Okay.
That's the section I go to.
Okay. I heard that. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Like I said, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session. I really enjoyed talking to you about this. It's so interesting. And now every time I look into the Bible, I'm going to be looking at something and thinking about plants. Because I didn't realize how much it related. I didn't know, it related to that so much, the seeds and seed and harvest and just planting and cultivating and taking care of it, and it's just a wonderful thing. So I am looking forward now to my my newfound plant journey.
Yes.
I will be definitely doing that. Definitely. Yeah. I can't wait. Guys, thank you for joining us. I'm looking for, okay. So don't forget to follow her on her Instagram page. And once again, what is that? I'm looking for it, but it's all lost.
Planting is my therapy 78.
Planting is my therapy 78
on Instagram.
Planting is my therapy 78. I'm gonna go. I think I don't know if I follow it already, but if not, I'm going to absolutely look over and follow it. Definitely. Oh, where's she at? She disappeared for a second. That's okay. Okay, there you go. You're back.
Yeah, that's because my phone just rang. My son.
Oh.
My son's calling.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Christina, for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And stay on so we can talk about that plant. Okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Everyone, enjoy yourself. Has a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye.